In this video, we're going to be creating this particular effect so that you can reveal any text you want in one of the coolest manners possible. I'll also teach you how to get any text to have this metallic outline just like this one. So without any further ado, let's begin. In our default scene, we can press X to delete our default cube, and then we can press Shift A and search for text and just add that in. Now, the cool thing about this particular effect is that you don't have to convert the text into anything, so it's always customizable till the end. So for now, I'm going to type in whatever I want and then tab back out to go into object mode. Remember, to actually edit the text, you have to tab to go into edit mode, or you can use the drop-down menu over here. And once you're in edit mode, you can only change the text. Now after this, we can go to the text properties over here and make all of the necessary changes. The first thing is under the geometry. If we actually extrude it, we can give it some sort of thickness. So as you can see, as we extrude it, it gets thicker. So for now, I'm going to go with 0.05 for my thickness. After that, you can just bevel it a little bit if you don't want it to have sharp edges. So I'll go with the bevel depth of 0.01. Now the next thing is you can actually change the font to whatever you want by expanding this drop down and choosing your font from this folder. Generally, your fonts will be located in your Windows font folder. However, if you do have any other folders where it's saved, you can just navigate to that and open your favorite font. I'm going to use Copperplate Gothic Bold, and I'm going to click Open Font. So that's what it currently looks like. Now, you have a lot more control over this. For example, I feel like the letters are too close to each other after we give it its bevel and things like that. So you can always go down to spacing and just increase this character spacing to whatever you feel appropriate. The next thing is under paragraph alignment, you can change it from left to center, and from vertical, you can make that center as well. Once you've set that up, you can go to the modifiers and add in two modifiers, which is going to be very similar to the previous video that you can actually see over here in the top right corner, or after you finish this video. The procedure is almost the same, but you get a really cool effect. It'll be linked in the description, so don't forget to watch that after you're done. So the first modifier that we'll add is going to be a simple deform modifier, and we're going to twist the angle by 360 degrees. The next modifier that we're going to add is going to be a curve modifier. For that, we require a curve object, so we're going to press Shift A, curve, circle, and we're just going to scale it up. And then we can select our text object again, and for the curve object, just press the eyedropper tool and choose our Bezier circle. Once your text gets associated with the Bezier circle, you can select the Bezier circle and just scale it down till they almost match up. So something like that is fine. Now you see the text is upside down at the top. We don't want it to be upside down. We want it to be the right side up. So we can just select the text and press R, X, and just rotate it on the X-axis until the region on top is facing the right side up. So this seems fine. And now we can go ahead and set all of our animation defaults. So let's go to the render properties, just switch on bloom and screen space reflections. Then we can go to the output properties, change the frame rate to 30 frames per second, change the end frame to 300 so that we get a 10-second long animation, change the output folder to wherever you want it to be, and make sure you change the file format to MFF-MPEG video with the encoding set to MPEG-4 and the output quality set to perceptually lossless. Now you can expand the timeline and go to frame 0, select our text and press I, rotation, and then you can go to the last frame and press R, X, and just see which direction causes the right type of motion. So right now, if I rotate it in the positive direction, the areas that's becoming straight is in the reverse direction. So I want it to go the Diane Academy. So I have to rotate it in the negative direction. So I'm going to press minus 360 and then enter I, rotation. And then I can come down here, press T, linear. That's going to make it a perfectly looping animation. Now the playback is going really slow at 10 frames per second. So we can go to the playback over here and change it to frame dropping. So that way we can see the actual speed at which it's going to be rendered. Now the next thing is we have to add in the camera. So we can just select our camera and then press Alt G to clear location, Alt R to clear rotation, and then we can grab it on the Z axis and just move it up a little bit and then press 0 on our numpad to go into the camera view. Then you can again press G and Z and just scale it in till you're happy with the positioning. Once you're happy with the positioning, you can go to frame 0 and press I on the rotation, and then you have to see as we rotate, the area that's coming in front has to remain at the top of the camera. So we'll go all the way to frame 300, then rotate on the Z in the negative direction. So minus 360 and then press I, rotation, and then down here press T, linear. So So now when we play the animation, you should be able to see how it stays in front. If we actually switch off overlays, you can see that you get, okay, the Diane Academy coming in just like this. So that's exactly what we wanted for this particular animation. Now you have to go ahead and set the materials. And we wanted this to be a metallic material with an outline of a nice gold metal. So to do that, we're going to select the text, switch on overlays, and then just press Shift D to duplicate it. So now we have text 001. If we go to the text properties for that, we have to go up to the geometry section, and in the offset, just offset it by 0.001 and also extrude it by a little bit more. So it's already at 0.5. You can make it 0.51. So right now it's a lot larger than the other text, but it's still completely full and we want only the edges. So to do that, on top, under the fill mode, change it from both to none, and immediately it just becomes an outline. And that's exactly what we want. Now we can go ahead and go to the materials over here and add in a new material, and we can change this material and call it the outsides, and we can select the initial text, give it a new material and call this insides. So now to actually see the materials, we're going to have to change the viewport shading to rendered by pressing the button up there. And then we can go ahead and for the insides, just make the base color a very bright white and increase the metallicness all the way to almost 1 and reduce the roughness as well by a little bit. Then we can select text 001 from the outliner over here, go to the materials, and for the outsides, change the base color to a nice golden color, so something like that, and then just go to metallic and make it very close to 1, and of course reduce the roughness a little bit, and there you now have the golden outline. Now to actually see this in effect, we can switch off the overlays and make the background far darker. So to do that, we're going to press Shift A, Mesh, Plane, and then just scale it up. And now we can just press G, Z, and just move it down till it's completely behind the text. Then we don't want these shadows to be seen. So for the two materials, insides and outsides, we can scroll all the way down and under settings, change the shadow mode to none. And we can do that for both the materials. Once you've done that, you have exactly the text with no shadows and a background plate. Now you can change the background plate color to something very dark, and to complement the golden color, you can go ahead and just give it a little bluish tint. Now all of that is being washed out by the light, so let's select the light, press Alt G to clear its location, then grab it on the Z axis and just move it up a little bit. And apart from that, under the light settings, just switch off specular, but instead of reducing it all the way to 0, just reduce it to something like 0.25, and that should give you something fairly fun to work with. So that's about it for this particular material, but in case you want to make changes at any point of time, it's really customizable. So for now, if I wanted to change it from the Diane Academy to the Diane Academy and Studios, I'd have to select the initial text, press Tab, go out of the camera view, and then under your modifiers over here, you can just switch off this particular button so that it's not shown in edit mode, and you can actually see your text properly. Then you can add in and Studios. Similarly, you can take text 001, tab, switch off this button and press space and Studios. Once you've done that, obviously there's a lot more text, so it's going to start overlapping. So just select your Bezier circle and just scale it up until it becomes the perfect size. Now this is done such that it's fairly versatile and you don't have to change any of the animations that you've done before this. Just select your camera after that, grab it on the Z axis and move it back till the whole thing fits into frame, and then when you play the animation, it's going to be perfectly all right. And this is the animation that you get once you're done with it. Of course, you can go ahead and add in some symbol or your logo right in the center, and you can use the same techniques for your SVGs and remove the fill mode, increase the offset by a little bit, extrude it a little bit, and get a nice metallic and gold outline effect for that as well. And just have your logo in the center when you're creating things like this, and it adds a lot of weight to your animation and to your logo and things like that. So let's suppose this is our logo added into the center of our text. The problem right now is that if you actually play the animation, because it's our camera that's rotating, the logo rotates as well, and you'd obviously not want that for your animation. So in order to fix that, what you'd have to do is select your actual logo and then go to the object constraint properties over here and then add in an object constraint and make sure you select copy rotation. And then for the target object, go ahead and select your camera from the outliner. And once you've done that, when you actually play your animation, you're going to notice that the logo actually follows along with your camera, and hence it doesn't rotate, and it looks like it's static in the center while the actual text is rotating around it. And that just adds a little bit of a flair to your animation. There's going to be a ton of more videos coming up every single day, so stay tuned, comment your doubts below, and don't forget to stay creative.